Hi everyone, this is Daisy here, aka Professional High Priestess, and I wanted to just put this channeling out there because this has been something that I've dealt with in my own personal life and on my own journey. And then I also know that there's other people too who are, currently grappling with this issue. And I know that there's a whole lot that just goes with this whole topic regarding being spiritual and wearing weave, fake hair, all of that, right? Extensions, all of that. And I just want to tell a little bit of my story, and I'm just going to keep it quick because I want to get also into some of the facts and things like that. Growing up, I always kind of like wore my hair natural. My mom, she did perm my hair, and also because that was like easier for her. But as I got older, I started, taking care of my own hair, and I would get braids, or I would, do weaves on myself, or have my sister do my hair, etc. And that's just because that's what I saw the women in my family do. My mom, she didn't wear weaves because she had long hair. So, as little girls, we just want to be like our mom. But my mom, she never paid for me to get my hair done with weaves and things like that. I did that because I had a job when I was really young. So I went to high school in Nigeria, and anyone who's went to high school in Nigeria or done public schooling in Africa, we're not allowed to wear our hair in weaves or actually out and free. For some schools, like the more expensive schools, like I lived in Lagos, so like Vivian Fowler, those type of schools, like you get like one day a week or a month where you can wear your hair out and free, not weave, but just like out and free, not braided down, nothing. But for the school that I went to Oak International College in Lagos. You had to have your hair in a certain style, and they would have a girl who would be in the 12th grade, and that was her job for the entire school year. She would call the hairstyle for the week. So they would say shuku up or down. Everyone, shuku is like basically, when they braid the front of your hair but they leave the back out, that's shuku. So they braid it up, meaning the first half, and then they down is also the second half. So they'll say half shuku or shuku half and down, or shuku and singles or something like that. Or they'll say all back, or they'll say snake design or something. So they'll get a different hairstyle every week. Or some girls, they just wear low cut. They call it low cut, where women just went bald, Amber Rose style. So coming from both of those legacies, and then also as I started getting older, I had a friend, this guy that I was friends with, is a gay white guy, and he would do my hair, and because he was a cosmetologist, he went to beauty school, all of that, so he would practice like doing my hair, and this is when I found out about like Brazilian and stuff like that, and this was when, before anybody knew about AliExpress or Alibaba, like I had that type of hair for cheap. So he would do ombre on me, all different type of styles and things like that, etc. The thing for me was it was never connected to like my racial identity, the weave, ever. And then another thing too is like I lived in the suburbs as well for when I came back from Nigeria. This is after growing up in the hood my whole life, and it never phased me to assimilate or nothing, even though I had my hair like in weave or whatnot, right? So this best friend of mine, I met him in the suburbs or whatnot. So it was just me and him, a black girl and a white guy, and he would do my hair, etc. And he would always like to practice different colors on my weave and things like that because it's also for his portfolio, right? And people saw that and they would go get their hair done by him. So that's really what it was. He would just do my hair. So I was like, okay, so my best friend's gonna do my hair. So shit, I'm gonna just keep on putting weave. I remember there was a time though, and this is when I separated my friendship from him, where I told him I was gonna get braids, and he was like, no. And that's when I realized like there was something connected to, for him, my hairstyle and my race and his ability to be proximity to me, you see, because, natural hair is looked down upon because it's, it makes people consider their wear closer to their natural state, which is a threat, really, subconsciously. But on the conscious level to them, it's deemed as not acceptable because it's outside of the European standard of beauty. There is a European standard of beauty, and if you basically associate yourself or align yourself with that standard of beauty, you're more acceptable. That's the subconscious thought and programming or patterning of white supremacy culture, right? So as I started getting older, this is like in my 1920, I stopped wearing, I kept like getting weaves and things like that here and there, but like I said again, it never like impacted, it was not about my racial identity. Because I always would read about the ancestors. I was reading Toni Morrison when I was like 12 years old, please, okay? So that wasn't the problem. I just wanted to look a certain type of way because I felt like it would make me be more beautiful. Just because I'm a Libra moon. Libra's ruled by Venus. Venusians, we like that type of stuff, right? So that's when I was younger. We're more vain when we're younger, duh. So anyhow, 21, 22, like I rocked my hair. I had a bald head for hella years. Like there was one day after I took out my weave one day, I just like cut my hair off. It wasn't a problem for me. It had nothing to do with like oh, like my identity as a black woman and a healer and an African. It was just like I just wanted to wear my hair like that. And at the same time too, I was still steeped in unpacking and addressing and healing from, internalized racism, white supremacy, that the journey that we all have to go on. Because not no I feel, unless you are born into a community that has not been touched, all of us have, some more than others, have work to do in terms of unpacking internalized white supremacy, racism, etc. Okay, let's just keep it hella real. None of us are exempt from that process. Those who are negatively impacted and those who benefit from the system. Okay, so anyways, I say that to say, I would wear my hair natural and then I grew my hair back out again, and then I just wore braids, and then like once a year I'd get like a weave when it would be like my birthday or something to celebrate or whatnot. I rock my hair in an afro or things like that. Like, it wasn't a problem for me. I just like to have like I just know like that the type of style that I like, because I'm a Leo too, and I like to dress up and look nice and things like that. It's just the aesthetics of it. It wasn't about how I felt about myself as a person, racially or spiritually. It didn't impact my spiritual development either, until recently. Early last year in 2019, I bought some hair online. This is after wearing my hair the same for like 4 or 5 years in the same like braids or twist or fro, right? And I got a weave, and the thing about the weave is I would always get it as like a transition. Like, okay, my hair braider is not going to be, because I learned how to do my own hair, braid my own hair, etc. I was like, okay, my hairstylist, she's not going to be available, so let me just go do this quick weave real quick, because I know how to cornrow and sew weave and stuff, and then I'll be on my way when she's ready. That's the type of thing that it had for me. But this time I got this hair, and I got a little bob, and I was like, okay, because I would go all out before. I had 24-inch, 26-inch. Yes, it was a lot. I'm gonna post some pictures so you guys can see. So with that being said, this time when I got the hair, I was doing it myself, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's a certain point as I was sewing, it got to like the half point of my head, and I literally felt like this huge wave of depression just flow into my body and over me. And I was trying to resist it as I was sewing it into my hair, and I knew that it had something to do with the hair. And I told myself, well, it's not on my scalp, and it's not hella on my skin like that, so it should be okay. It wasn't even about that. It was the spirit of the person that owned the hair. It was in that hair, because you guys have to remember, the hair is the antennas, remember? Because all the different type of structures in nature, humans are also a part of nature, right? They are replicated in technology. So like the eyes are the camera, the ears are the microphone. The ears are the speakers, or headphones or whatever. The voice is like the microphone or whatnot, right? The nervous system is Wi-Fi, right? And then the hair is antennas, electrical signals and impulse. That's why sometimes you get goosebumps. How does the goosebump activate? It's the hair on your skin, right? That then triggers the sensory response underneath your skin, underneath the second and third epithelial layer of the skin, you see? Because you're getting an electrical impulse that's giving you a certain message, and the goosebumps is a sign that you're getting a message, an energetic message. So this hair was connected to this other individual. I didn't know who this person was, right? I just bought the hair, etc. We know, you guys saw that movie by Chris Rock, Good Hair, that a lot of this hair is given as ritual offerings and sacrifices. These people don't know that their hair is being sold in a worldwide market, right? That's worth billions of dollars. They don't know that. Some of these people are literally like, tied up and locked up in a place where they're being pumped different type of vitamins and foods and things like that to make their hair grow so that it can be sold, right? So I also think about that type of trauma and that type of energy in the hair. And then on top of that, the person and what they could have gone through, or what's in their DNA or whatnot, that then transferred itself into the hair. Because remember, hair is just dead skin. And all of that skin cells, hair cells, are developed in the liver, right? And we already talked about the liver being the seat of the soul. In Chinese medicine, the liver is the space of emotional regulation. So if you're having brittle nails, or your hair is not like retaining moisture, or it's breaking off and it's brittle, what's going on with your liver? So anyways, I had this weave on, and really it didn't do me no never mind, because people who know me know that like I just be switching my stuff up sometimes. So this time though, I was like, okay, there's something going on here. And I knew that there was something wrong after I had this experience. After I finished, sewing the weave, and I didn't really think twice about it. I thought I did think twice about it. I mean, after I had that experience with the wave trying to come into my body, after I had a crazy dream about the person who owned the hair, and it was an Asian lady, and she was sitting in like this, like the way that it looked, it was like she was hidden away in this castle, and there was like beds next to her of other women too, and she was sitting up in the bed and she was crying, and she was so depressed, and I saw her face so clearly and so vividly that I knew it's everything to do with the weave and the hair. And the next day I took it out. The next day I woke up and I cut that weave out of my hair, and I have not worn weave ever since. Now, I was thinking of like, because it's like, for me, like I said, it's not connected to my divinity. For me, it's not connected to my racial identity. It's just connected to the persona that I want to express, like art. I use my fashion and my hairstyles and my nail color and my makeup as art. My jewelry is art. I decorate myself. It's art. So some people, they draw as art. They make music as art. Fashion is also art, you see? So it's like artistry for me. Now, when it comes to this whole debate in the conscious community of wearing weave and not wearing weave, I know people with locks down to their ass who are fucking horrible and toxic and dysfunctional and do not at all embody like the traditional African values that we talk about, right? That are standard across all the different various African cultures and religions and things like that. I know people who have weave in their hair, wear weave down to their ass, and they're like the nicest people. They're very spiritually in tune. They're grounded, etc. So it's not about the hair. It's literally about, if you feel like you cannot be beautiful, if you feel that you cannot be acceptable without it, that's when the problem comes. Me personally, it's called protective styling. I braid my hair because, real talk, who is gonna come? You gonna come do this 4C hair every single day with the products and how much they cost? No, then leave me alone. That's another thing too for some people to understand. They'll say, okay, well, why don't you lock your hair? Who told you that wasn't my plan? That's why I'm growing my hair out, so I can lock it, because I want it to be a certain length when I lock it up, so I can shake them. But anyways, again, that's just like the aesthetics in me, right? And I know locks is a journey, all that thing too. But like I said, I know people who have locks down to their ass when they're horrible people. So I mean, really, did the locks change them? And I want us to be careful too of associating identities or appearances with specific identities and characters, right? And values and integrity, because we can get ourselves into a lot of trouble with that. My guys just said that's the balanced perspective. Me personally, when it comes to this weave, I don't do human. Oh, that's the thing too. That it was human hair when I got that weave. You see, now if I get any type of weave or something in my hair, like just for play or something, it's always synthetic. Always. It doesn't last long. It's like 2 to 3 weeks. That's fine for me though, because I'm not going to be dealing with the other energetic impacts. You see what I'm saying? And then also that's your crown chakra too. And this is why a lot of men are experiencing male pattern baldness, because the different chemicals and whatnot and the technology and things like that are breaking off their follicles, which is also transmitters for them to the spiritual realm. That's why a lot of masculines are more on a lower vibration than feminines. That's the insight about growing your hair. And I also want to add too that our ancestors, yes, they used to wear hair weave. They created that stuff in ancient Egypt. What do you think that they were doing? They would get yarns and things like that, and they would make wigs for themselves and all types of head dresses and things like that. This is an old practice, thousands of years old. It's only when the European standard of beauty was instituted, right, that it flipped from a thing of aesthetics and beauty and culture to assimilation for survival and acceptance, you see? And another thing too is I can't actively engage in that global market knowing what it's doing to specific people, like harming them. It's kind of like that conflict-free diamonds and things like that. Like, I feel like in the near future, there's going to be like hair companies that are going to be held to a higher standard, or people are just going to stop wearing weave. It's already happening. People are going crochet, they're going braids, they're going back natural, right? My thing is, if we as the consumers, like specifically black women and black and brown women, if we can control that market, that's better. Because then on another side too, who do we go to when we have to go buy the hair? We have to go to individuals, to people who, oppress us. I'm going to just keep it hella real. They disrespect us, they oppress us, and they know that we want to get access to the hair or whatever, so that they do us any type of way. You guys saw last year what was happening. There was like this huge issue with, black people getting beat up in hair salon, nail salons, and beauty supply stores, right? So we know the general sentiment. And I'm not saying that all Asian folks are like that, but we see this the consensus, because it's happening, in a lot of different places at the same exact time, right? So that's another thing too. I have to think about black economics. We know that this is they then use that money to build more businesses in our community, to promote gentrification and all that type of stuff. Or they, these hair companies, they then fucking endorse individuals that work against our interest. Think about that too. That's something else that I had to really think about. And some people are like, okay, but what about the hair products? Honestly, real talk, black soap, shea butter, coconut oil, shea oils, and that's all stuff that our community makes. So that's what I just wanted to put out there about that. I hope I give a balanced perspective. Yeah. Anyways, once again, my name is Daisy, aka the Professional High Priestess. Bye.